welcome back to you, mate. Great to have you back. Shout out to our Hollywood Biz for stepping in last minute. Shano, you look sensational. We'll get to you in a moment. Nick, mate, we've missed you. The fans have been going crazy. Tell me he's coming back. How are you, brother?
Nathan, it's so good to be back. Hello, Shane. It's been a while since I've seen you guys. But look, I'm one of these people that like to give people opportunities. And Josh had an opportunity last week. And didn't he have an absolute mare? He was disgraceful. And the feedback's been coming through thick and fast about his awkwardness and the delays in conversation. So I thought, I did the crime, I did the time, and I'm back. And the people have spoken. Here I am, and a special thanks to LRF for the attire, for making sure I'm fully clothed. Shane, you're not quite fully clothed, but I tell you what, you're wearing some paraphernalia which you should be up and about this week. Those mighty Saints have won their first final in a decade, mate. Well done to you.
Thanks, mate. I'm very excited, and I'm still trying to figure out if we're going to finish above Gold Coast this year. But all in all, I'm very excited. We've got a big game on Friday, and let's not forget about you guys, Nico. Your effort there on Saturday night was something truly to behold. You have to, obviously, we'll get through it at some stage, but that has to be in the top 5 all-time finals victories by your boys. Unreal. What a match.
I'll be honest, I've experienced some unbelievable finals wins as a Collingwood supporter, particularly in the last couple of decades. And Saturday night was special. And I know I wasn't live with you. I'm not sure if you read my tips out last week. I think I've written down West Coast. But in my heart of hearts, they're the games that we win, the Pies. Backs against the wall stuff. Where in Western Australia, it's practically a different country halfway through the year. No way in, no way out. Dirty Pies. We've had staff in caravans, in camper vans. I mean, wow. It was to quote Bruce.
Cut in, Nathan. Cut in quick.
No, let him go.
Special. Now, I know people say that I talk too much about Collingwood. Probably tune out now, because this is just an episode we're going to dedicate to excellence. And you can't not talk about Nathan Buckley's coaching performance. You can't not talk about Brody Myercheck's. If anyone think that was a fluke, how he kicked that ball like it was a boomerang, not a boomerang kick, like he was actually kicking a piece of Indigenous wood, they're kidding themselves. That was just all asked there by checkers. But no, Nathan, how did the Suns go? Did they get up?
Look, they had a training run in the pub, I'd imagine. A few frothies there. But, look, they'll come good. But, look, let's not digress away from where the attention should be, which is on one of the finest weekends of football I can recall since probably last final series. But in all seriousness, mate, mate, what a cracker weekend. But let's go back to your boys, Nick. We've touched on them. First of all, we'll give a little shout out to LRF. Of course, LRF Sports brings you this evening's episode. So all of your sporting apparel across the Australasian network. So get onto them. But Nico, let's bring your boys in. I want to give a quick little shout out before we give out the other applause, as it were, or plaudits rather. Mason Cox. Now, he has copped probably... he'd be a podium finish on having copped the most crap across all the social platforms for at least half of the season. Now, I think he's handled himself first and foremost prior to the weekend's game with absolute dignity. I thought he's handled himself extremely well, better than I certainly would have. I would have gone toe-to-toe. But for him to cop the amount of crap that he has from all corners of the earth, including Collingwood supporters, to come out and put on a performance like that, strut around the football field before he's even put hands on it, mate. I was impressed by young Mason. So no matter where his football career takes him from here on in, I thought he was sensational. So Shane, before we unleash Nick, mate, what's your thoughts on Collingwood Magpies, mate? It was the game they would never win. They couldn't win. We all wrote them off. No. West Coast didn't bring their spiders, as it turns out, in Collingwood. The unwinnable game. They did it, mate. They did it.
And look, Mason is actually, we're going to talk a little bit about his mother country very shortly in a little quiz that we've got. So a new segment that you can introduce a little bit later on, their barn dog. But bookending the match with Mason Cox hitting 3 and then Myercheck, I think, kicked 2 or 3 of his in the last quarter. How electric, how dangerous. He was plucking them. He was confident. He was doing his sort of weird white guy emblems to the crowd. And was pretty pumped up, and it was exciting. They needed that. They needed that shot in the arm from the big Cox man. But how awesome to see him up and about. He's fun. He's different. He's quirky. But when he's at his best, he's almost impossible to drag down. So I think Barras had a crack at him. McGovern tried to have a crack at him, but when he runs and jumps at the footy, he's a very, very lengthy man. So he caught it at its peak and executed his mechanical kick beautifully. So, but all in all, great game. I think it was the game of the weekend in terms of its competitiveness across the entire 4 quarters. I don't know if how much further the Pies will go. I think they'll struggle this week like the Saints will, but we've given ourselves a shot, Nico. Top 6. Let's see what happens now.
No, absolutely. And we obviously had the Biz last week, who was in his best robotic non-self form. So I thought we need a bigger guest this week, don't we? Like, you need to step it up. So you've got one of the all-time great local footballers in Queensland history in Joshua Biz Brown last week. I've managed to get him, boys. Can I bring him in now? I know the pre-game show wasn't there, but let's bring him in. I'll just over here, mate. Oh, you got him?
Oh!
Now, for those people watching at home, I'm 6. What am I? 6'5", 6'6". So it shows you there that Mason is just hitting just probably a touch over 7 foot. He's a big man. He is a big man, but that's me catching up with him there after. I think that was in Bali last year. He just wanted to be known, so he was through Kilda, through the Sari Club and whatnot, just making sure he was known. He was
important to get your shoulder strapped when you go to Bali, Nick.
Oh, absolutely, because I'll be honest, a couple of days into the trip, he was really needing to carry me through it. But no, look, in all seriousness, you know, everyone's got a grandparent or a parent that they tuck the good set of cutlery away for special occasions, don't they? Or you like a good dinner set, Nathan, one would say, and they only bring them out on special occasions. It's quite silly because we're talking probably Christmas, maybe family gatherings. Mason Cox to Collingwood is like a luscious cutlery set that you only bring it out when you really, really want to do something special. And I don't mind that. I don't mind that because he's much maligned, as you said, Nathan, through the year. But, geez, when you bring him out, boy, oh boy, wowee, is he something that just is a marvel to watch. He's got confidence. He takes the plucks. He goes back. He is, Shane, the best set shot at goal in the AFL.
I agree. He doesn't miss.
Bar none. And I think it's a lesson to be learnt here that if you want to play at the highest level, disengage from junior football. Do not play junior football. Go and do everything else because you pick up so many bad habits. You'll generally be coached poorly, and you're going to try and do silly things that you shouldn't be doing. This is a man who didn't touch a football until he was 20 years of age, 21 years of age maybe. And he's just pure. He's just pure. And you got to think, boys, he's doing this at his height. It's quite scary. Like we're talking your Justin Maddens, your Spider Burtons. Dean Cox was probably similar. I think Coxie's got Coxie's got the old Coxie in terms of height wise, but it's special to watch. But I'm excited about what the Pies can do. Let's just go to the Gabba on Saturday night against the Cats. We're the underdogs again. We've had some great finals against the Cattery. It'll be Gary Abbott's last game if the Pies get the win. And we're at the Gabba. It's mind-blowing, boys. We've been talking about it all year, but who would have thought we're going Collingwood Geelong semi-final at the Gabba?
Do you think this will be Gaz's last run if they don't get the win?
Yeah, I think all indications are that he's going to pull up. If anyone heard otherwise through this period, I must admit I've been very engaged in my club, but I think Gary, he hasn't announced anything. No.
You want them to go out in straight sets again. Like they have capitulated the last 4 or 5 years, maybe longer, in final series.
Yeah,
you're not going to get more out of Gary Ablett next year than what he's given this year, and there's probably not a whole lot of natural improvement in that group. So
it's a cop out.
Go on, but not a straight sets again.
Chris Scott, when he gets asked the questions about his finals coaching record and says it's boring, facts are facts, boys, isn't it? Like statistics are facts. They don't lie. Stats don't lie. So Mason Cox is a very good player on the big stage. That's facts. Ordinary to okay most of the year. Finals, that doesn't lie. So Chris Scott, you got to be realistic here, mate. Your finals coaching record is not very good. You won a premiership on the back of Mark Thompson being a drug addict and leaving the football club. Yeah, you've done nothing since then. It's all good and well getting to the dance floor, but if you can't keep grooving into the night, what's the point?
Oh, Nico.
Why do you think that is, boys? Have we got any idea at all?
I just think they've got another gear. I think they've put so much effort in throughout the year. I know they're talking about management. They've talked about, Silver's missed some games. Dangerfield's played a bit more forward, but I don't think that sixth gear that you need to jump into in September or now October, I just don't know if they've got that extra bit, that flair, that pace, that intensity. Yes, they're hard to footy, no doubt, but they bring that week after week, which is great, but what happens next? Where does the extra intensity come from in order to truly compete at this time of year?
It's a problem. It's a problem, and I hope it's a problem for one more week at least for the Pies' sake. But I mean, on paper, they're a very good side, and they were probably your tip, Nathan, at the start of the year. I think they were near on my tip as well. So it's going to be a cracker. It's going to be an absolute ripper, and not worthy of being at the Gabba in front of 21,000 nufties. But that's how it's going to play out.
Mate, before we move on to the Gabba, because I'll be there, Nico. We'll touch on that in a moment.
Are you going on Saturday night?
100%. Shout out to Jake and to Dre. We're heading down. I assume you'll be there, Nico. I was going to send you a message, but I figured you'd be paying the top dollar. I went to cheap seats, brother. Cheap seats.
Well, I can't believe this, but there's going to be 3 members of the Up and About podcast present on Saturday night.
Well, we'll have to work out where we're going for the rehearsal, we'll call it that. But before we move on to Saturday night, gents, mate, I was heavily impressed by Port Adelaide. I thought they took Geelong's physicality and look, they did a lot of things right. They impressed a lot of people, myself included. That being said, we're sitting here crucifying Geelong. You're not going to blame Tom Hawkins. You're not. They lost it in the midfield. However, you would have expected Tommy to kick 3 of those 6, and I think if he kicks the 3, they win. So I don't think, as far as Geelong's performance, they were thereabouts, and they probably did enough to win. They just didn't take their chances. But taking nothing away from Port Adelaide, mate, they're one game away from the big one, and they were impressive. They're young blokes. I didn't think that they were as tough as they showed on the weekend. So Shane, they're a genuine threat. I'm not going to eat my hat yet. I don't see them winning it. I would not be surprised if they made the grand final.
For mine, they were the biggest improver from the year to round 1 of the finals. I thought there were significant question marks, and against a hardened side who were at full strength, being Geelong, I thought their midfield stacked up incredibly. Tommy Rockcliffe was incredible. Ollie Wines was incredible. Zach Butters, what a star. Not a budding star, a now star. He's a tough kid with some gifts. Connor Rosey, their skipper down back, Tommy Jonas, was heroic. I know that it could have been a very different night for that back line if Tommy had got off the leash, but what I say is bad kicking, bad footy. So he could have kicked 3, but they might have been closer. You don't know how Port Adelaide would have reacted if they were closer. So I thought they were very impressive, and they're going to be significant favourites for the prelim. And big dance, I think they'll be there.
Well, let's keep it going to this Saturday then, gents. We got this Saturday 6:40 kickoff, I believe it is, or bounce rather. What's your gentlemen's pre-game plans?
I have
Shane, Nick.
Oh, sorry. I've got a bit of a work event leading into the proceedings, but I'll be in and around the area. I mean, as we've actually spoken about where to go pre-finals or pre-grand final. I might experience some of those venues. I might have to go back to a couple of podcasts ago where Shane gave us a really good synopsis of location. That might be the plan. But I can also break to you that there'll be a couple of members of the Up and About podcast team present at Metricon on Friday night. So we're really, for the podcast, obviously, not for supporting sake, we'll be going to get the real hardcore details so we can report back about the smell and the scent and the bump and the feel and the touch of those games, because I'm imagining that we'll probably see less than 20,000, Shane, on Friday.
Yep.
And probably a tick over 20,000 on Saturday. So, which is amazing. That's the year that is. But no, I'm excited. We're going to probably get a photo together, the three of us at some stage, Nathan, I'd imagine. And
yeah, I'd imagine Shane will work out details maybe after the show. Won't bore our loyal fans, but
maybe our fans who come and meet us somewhere, if they want to bring something in to sign, I'm happy to sign something, or happy to get some feedback about where we're at. If any of our viewers can somehow dodge the 2-week quarantine and fly over to see us, they're also welcome to do so.
Well, there we go. All you Indians and Indonesians, if you can get around the quarantine, prove your loyalty. But hit us up, and we'll be sure to have a beer or three pre-game, maybe post-game. Shane, let's move on to your boys, the Sainters. The Sainters. Mate, lots of positives, a couple of negatives. Very polarizing situation here. Mate, talk us through the game first of all, and then your. I guess, how do you see this week playing out for you?
Yeah, look, I was cock a hoop, I'll be honest. They started well. They sustained the performance. They came out in the third quarter and played excellent footy. And then the old St Kilda way, some people find speed humps or little speed ripples, which you go blah, 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 over in your car. But the Saints always manage to find either one of those gravel traps down on the Toowoomba range or a brick wall. So 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, we hit that inevitable wall and thought, we'll put the queue in the rack. We'll just coast home and maybe rest a couple of guys. Anyway, so that happened. And then the last quarter, we all saw unfold. We were playing defence. We're trying to hold on. And the Bulldogs probably kicked themselves out of it. They had a couple of opportunities to take the game. But all in all, Paddy Ryder was an absolute throwback performance. This is not a Port Adelaide Paddy Ryder. This is a mid-tenure Essendon Paddy Ryder. He was awesome. He's going to be a huge loss. The hamstring tendon injury, he's done for the year. That is going to be catastrophic for us. Ben Long off the half-back line I thought was pretty important all day. Adds a little bit of physicality to that back line. Went a little bit over the edge. So he's done for the week. That's been confirmed. We might get Josh Battle back, but we've also seen Jake Carlisle. So in terms of some key guys, Ruck, probably fullback and halfback flank, all leaving the hub, all unavailable for selection. And then Curvis, a Tom Lynch, who's their small forward, a Jason Castagna against Richmond. Anyway, we're getting into more of the preview, but I'm hopeful that we put in a very strong performance on Friday night. Richmond will be deserved favourites, and I understand they have chosen Metricon because it is a bigger playing surface compared to the Gabba. So I find that interesting. They're trying to get away from...
You think that's why they picked it?
I do, yep.
No, I'll tell you why they picked it. Because they live across the road, and St Kilda have a 3-hour bus ride, which is going to mean they have to leave Noosa either... Well, I think they're going to come down the night before, is my mail, that they're going to have to come and stay in somewhere, a different location to where they've been established, and really they've made Noosa their own. I think that's clever by the Tigers. Any slight advantage you can get, you take.
Yeah, so, I just don't know if it should be like if you pose this to a Geelong in the last couple of years, it's like, well, why didn't Geelong get home games?
Because Fremantle beat them at home, and they probably just pretended they want to get home games. They did. Well, that's the reality. They played at home and
Nick. So I find it interesting that a team in a hub has the option to actually choose where to play.
They could have chose Adelaide, Shane. They could have chose Adelaide.
Okay, but you shouldn't have the choice in this scenario.
Yes, you should.
You should be playing at the best ground. And the best ground available to us is the Gabba.
There'd be no football. There'd be no football being played.
Okay. No, I said best available grounds. How many available grounds are there, Nick?
Well, they should. That's mate. You're right in my zone. We should have all games being played in Adelaide. That's the best ground.
Yeah.
So Richmond chose not to play in Adelaide, as St Kilda chose not to play in Adelaide in round one of the finals. St Kilda could have chosen to play in Adelaide in that first final against the Doggies.
Yeah, we could have. But I'm just. That's something where that's independent. That's not a local win for a team. So a 3-hour drive down the lovely Bruce Highway and the extraordinary 1973 infrastructure we have here in Southeast Queensland. I find it interesting that Richmond can elect to choose to play at an inferior stadium. I find it interesting. That's all.
But the rules are that the club with the home advantage can choose where they're playing in this hub environment. That was established at the start of the finals. I don't want to argue with you. I'm just stating what they said.
Let's go to Geelong the last 10 years. How many times they wanted to play down at Cardinia Park?
But you can't go to Geelong at the moment because Victoria's riddled with coronavirus.
Last 10 years, Nick. I'm not talking about this year.
I'm talking about here and now, Shane.
All right, you're in finals, but you're finals season.
I'm eyeballing you.
That's fine. Bring it on.
That's impressive. All right, gents.
So
we'll
the Gold Coast. It's going to be lovely, and I'm heading out to Broadbeach afterwards, and I'll see what happens. Woo.
Amen. Let's talk about the Dogs very, very quickly because that's all they deserve. They only played one quarter of football. Did they get the start time wrong? Where were they? I think a lot of Dogs fans are a little bit confused, a little bit disappointed in their efforts. Kudos for their entire season overall. They're definitely on the up, but bit of a confusing performance, that one. Shana, your boys were beautiful working the ball from the back half into the forward half. Questionable why you guys dropped away as well, but I think it was more representative of the Doggies' efforts, mate, in the fourth quarter there. So,
Gritty, yep.
They improved throughout the year, the Dogs. They were disgusting. We're going all the way to round one. They were disgusting against Collingwood in round one. Then they were beaten by the Saints, I believe, in round two, Shane. So there was 0-2 in a 17-round season. So they had to sit on that loss for a long time through the COVID initial phase. It's funny, isn't it? Like, they only lost by a couple of points, but we're picking them apart. Same as West Coast. Everyone's picking West Coast apart, but that's what the media do. They need to stay relevant. They need to stay in the game. I find it funny how any team's getting slaughtered to the levels that they have been and picked apart on these shows when it was the best round of finals football since 1994 statistically. Stats don't lie. Stats.
Well, Essendon's helped us, Nico. Essendon has helped the losing finals team from the weekend by being an absolute basket case, but I'm sure we'll get there at some stage.
The Dons, yeah. Hello, Paney.
Let's bring them in now, boys. I didn't actually see. I heard the rumours that Danaher was going to release today where he was heading. Did that happen? Did he release? Is he going to the Lions?
I'm not sure if he officially released it, but it's all roads lead to Brisbane. Which look, hats off to Brisbane. They've created a football program which is now seeing players looking at Brisbane as a destination club. Where it was about 5 years ago where players were getting drafted and then tapping out of here. So well done to Chris Fagan, David Noble and the team at the Lions. They wouldn't give a flying cahoot, me giving them praise or whatnot, but I can say I was, just a short story, I was at a conference where both Fagan and Noble spoke in the last couple of years. I've been to a couple of them there, both very impressive, and I can see how they've galvanised that football club. So well done to Brisbane. Kudos where it's deserved. I still don't like them, but I have enough respect because I'm over 30 to say well done.
I've just done a quick little check on Google there, gents. What with this technological age we live in. Danaher has the Bombers released a statement saying Danaher had expressed a strong desire to live away from Melbourne. That's how he's getting out of his contract or whatever it may be. And he's put forward the Lions as his preferred club. The Lions are said to be ecstatic at that. And also, Adam Sard has requested a trade to Carlton. It's also the second consecutive year Danaher has sought to leave the Bombers as well. So a lot of questions there this year, obviously, over his lack of football time, whether it was injury or whether it was him just playing a little bit of hardball to
you got to let him go, don't you? You got to let him go.
100%. Let him go.
4 months ago and got something for him.
Well, I think they're going to try and play a little bit of hardball. They'll be trying to get a bit of a payout. They won't be.
Is he a free agent?
Out of pocket.
Yeah, he's a free agent.
Oh, so he can go, Nathan.
Shit.
I think he's restricted. So, but
the AFL will deem him, because of Essendon's situation, the AFL will deem him a first round draft selection, which will give Essendon 3 first round picks, I believe, off the top of my head, because I think they've acquired one from somewhere else. So that'll be good in a draft where the draft is a lottery as it is, but we're picking kids on the back of having 12 months of sitting around reading textbooks and playing video games. So, yeah.
Mate, he's huge for Brisbane. I think the smart money was always on him to get to the Lions. So we've had that discussion before. They're probably missing a little bit of a key forward. What would you do with him, mate? Lions are renowned for throwing a bit of weight on their players. Would you want him to throw another 10, 15 kegs on?
I just want him to get his body right to play football, because
I think it is right, Nick. I think that's the point. I think it's always been right for at least 6 months. He's just chosen not to play.
Well, if that's the case, that's an attitude adjustment.
Yeah, and you want that in your team? You really want that in your club? He's talented, but he has shown an absolute disdain for that football club that his father and uncles just showed so much respect and played successful footy over many years in that place. And I just find it fascinating that the Lions are looking at this as a huge win without. I'd rather him settle in for a bit, do a pre-season, get going, get part of the framework, because the way he has treated Essendon has been embarrassing.
If Brisbane are in the market for a key forward and they're going to splash some cash, why wouldn't you, and they may be doing it, but why wouldn't you entertain Jeremy Cameron? I'll be taking Jeremy Cameron before Joe Danaher. And that's on the back of Jeremy Cameron having a pretty ordinary year.
Yep.
But anyway.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Good for local marketplace.
It'll make for good content anyway. But Danaher's 26. I think he's got 2 years. I think if he doesn't perform out the gate with Brisbane, I'd be interested to see the contract that they offer. I would hope for Lions fans it's a short-term one, maybe performance-based and maybe game time based as well. But
two with the trigger. You'd hope 2 with the trigger. If they gave him 3 clean, that'd be a worry, because you've got to make good decisions. And in addition to what Brisbane have done with their program, it's about good people. And Joe has probably done a lot to show that he might be a lovely bloke, but he's let Essendon people down. So not sure how that all fits. Hopefully it goes pear-shaped for Brisbane.
Well, just on Brisbane, mate, kudos to them. We've destroyed them all season. Shout out to Jake Dennis. We have our little battles at work, but they've been working on their kick in the last 5-6 weeks, and it's just starting to show. They kick straight enough to win. It's been well documented. 3 of the 4 teams that lost actually had more scoring opportunities. So Brisbane, a lot to like. Charlie Cameron, you are an absolute star. I know he loves the show, so hello, Charlie. But yeah, Brisbane looked all right. They looked very impressive. So Shane, where do you put the Lions, mate? How did you see it?
Yeah, that was the best game of the weekend in my view. Both of those clubs played like it was like a final. The intensity was right up. The skills were right up. 2 of the better sides. So I wouldn't be surprised if we were to see them again in the big dance. I know I've talked about Port Adelaide, but Richmond played very well against a better side on the night. So 2 very, very competent sides who are pretty loaded with talent and look like they're ready to go deep.
Nick, I thought it was very interesting. I'm a big fan of plays. If they're lacking a little bit in the moment as far as confidence for the set shot, I'm a huge fan of them dishing it off. I think in our messages, Stevie J was brought up. I think he took a run-around handball off Big Tommy Hawkins a few years ago when they prelim and kicked truly. But the first goal there, it was good to see Daniel Rich taking the handball from, who was it? I think it was McCluggage.
I think it was you.
Yeah, but
was.
giving off to Daniel Rich and kicking 55 on the fly, somewhere like that. It was a little bit concerning, though. I mean, he lingered for 18 seconds. McCluggage was just looking at him like this, and no one came to him. But anyway, so first goal off the rank. But I think what was impressive about Brisbane is the fact that Dusty played very, very well. Richmond still played very, very well. So kudos to the Lions. It wasn't Richmond didn't show up. They showed up. I think they've still got half a gear, but the Lions showed some vast improvements. And again, I love everything about Charlie Cameron. He's obviously done his apprenticeship under Eddie Betts down there at Adelaide and got out at the right time. So shout out to Charlie. But Nick, you are one of Brisbane's biggest fans, obviously. So how do you see them this time of year, mate? Were you impressed?
You've always got to be impressed with the team that beats the reigning premiers and the premiership favourites. I think they're still equal premiership favourites, the Tigers. But I think I'm going to put my neck out here. I don't think Brisbane can win it. I think they're too predictable. And I think that Port Adelaide, if they were to play Port Adelaide in a grand final, Port Adelaide are the most pressure, aggressive, tenacious side left out of the 6 teams consistently. So Richmond have wavered in and out with that aggression. I think Brisbane are too predictable. I think that they need the same core players to be up and about. Geez, I dropped that a fair bit on this. Who named this podcast? But I look at other teams and I think there's a more even spread and there's a less reliance on individuals. So sorry, Brisbane supporters, for the fact that you do support Brisbane to start with. And then also, I just don't think you can win it. And if you're ever going to win it, you're sleeping in your own beds, you're playing at the Gabba, you still don't have daylight saving, your premier speaks really slowly, the borders are closed. I mean, everything points towards Brisbane doing great things. Shout out to Lord Mayor Jim Sawley.
Shano, mate, take us into the next segment and shout out to the sponsor. Bring them in.
The trivia event this week. So I'm not too sure how this is all going to roll out, but let's see how it plays. And
we should introduce it properly, shouldn't we? Sorry, ladies and gents. I forget that they're not involved in our 15-second little catch-ups prior to the technical malfunctions, all that kind of stuff. So, Shane, you want to introduce, I guess, the idea that we're going to run with moving forward?
Yeah, I guess brought to you by Hello Grams Espresso for all of your juices, your croissants, your baked goods, and caffeinated needs on the south side of Brisbane, Vegas.
Great staff too, Shane. Beautiful staff that are just very friendly. They guide you through the menu. I actually had breakfast there the other day. I can't remember the name of the young lass that looked after me there, but just was outstanding. So great sponsor. I encourage anyone in the greater Brisbane area to travel to the south side and get around.
Shane, just quickly too, mate. Do you know? I don't know if you're aware of this. Do you know how you say croissant in French?
Croissant.
Yeah, bang on. All right, moving on.
We'll watch the French Open. Don't worry. Yes. All right.
Shane, can I wedge that one again? Read croissants. I think we've all been to France, boys. Correct?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So.
He didn't.
I was looking for that. I was in France a few years ago, and I went to a bakery. French are known for their it was a patisserie, they call it, for the kids watching at home. And I went in and delicious goods in the window, and I said, I know a bit of French. I think you guys know this. And I said, "Parlez-vous anglais?" And the baker's assistant or the baker said, "Oui." And I've gone, I didn't know what to say next. I got nervous and I didn't purchase anything because I got stage fright. So for those people who want some translation, I actually said, "Do you speak English?" And then the baker's assistant said yes. And I didn't know what to say next in French to order what I wanted, so I left the bakery.
Oh.
Anyway, back to you, Shane. I thought that was a ripper. Where do you
Tell them off for the kids. All right. So the trivia today is based on the great Mason Cox and the glorious country we all know as the United States of America.
Texas.
I love it. I love it. And before you jump in, Shano, the idea of this, ladies and gents, is this is now going to be dubbed the Centurion. So being the ferocious competitors that we are, we're looking at each week, it's going to rotate. So Shane's going to introduce 10 trivia questions this evening. Next week, it'll be myself or Nick, and the following week, the other person. And on a rotation basis, first one to 100, hence Centurion, gets the chockies. So as usual, we won't put anything on the line. We'll speak shit about putting something on the line halfway through. We won't do it. But anyway, Shane.
So are our names the buzzers, Shane, or?
No, you can use the name of your favourite football team.
Oh, excellent.
Could be the mascot, Nick.
Wyndham Vale.
Okay. You're wronger. All right, so we're going to do a bit of a match race today. So it's going to be a little bit odd. The trivia scenario is going to change every week, but we're going to have questions which are particularly challenging. And I want you guys to both have a crack at the answer. And the person who's nearest to the actual result is going to get the point.
Nearest the pin, one would say.
Nearest to the pin, we will say. All right. So I'll start with one which will hopefully both get you off the mark. So the capital city of California, and I have got a little bit of a multi-choice question here. So there are 4 options being Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, and Sacramento.
Suns.
Please, Nathan.
Capital city of California.
I thought we were both getting a go.
We will.
Sacramento.
Yep. All right. And that means that Nick and Nathan both get a point because this is not going to be a buzzer round. This is going to be both come in at your own leisure. So we're working through this and we're going to get some great results.
Hang on. How does Nico get a point there?
How do we get a point?
Yeah, I know he's a nice guy.
I was going to say LA. I was going to say LA. So just leave it off.
Okay. All right. Now, the number of professional sporting teams in Mason's great state of Texas, covering NFL football, NBA basketball, Major League Baseball, and National Hockey League ice hockey. So, both please.
Collingwood.
Nick.
5.
Nathan.
7.
Nathan wins. There are 8.
Oh!
There are 8 teams in the great state of Texas. Now, the fateful trip that was made by Lloyd Christmas and Harry Dunn across a variety of vehicles when they left their lovely residence in Providence, Rhode Island, on the eastern seaboard of the States. And they eventually ended up in the lovely place of Aspen, Colorado. Now,
have you heard this story, Nico?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's called Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, thank you.
All right. To the nearest kilometre, how far is that journey?
Collingwood.
Nick.
9,756 kilometres.
756.
9757.
Oh, Nick wins. 3458. 3458 kilometres.
I like your tactic. I like your tactic there, Nathan.
Thank you. I thought you'd appreciate that, Nico. Mate, where's the longest you've taken a road trip, Nico?
Well, I would say the longest road trip I've done would be nothing fancy. It'd be Brisbane to the Mornington Peninsula down to a place called Safety Beach. So not quite Melbourne, a bit further south. I don't think I've done what felt like longer was Brisbane to Townsville because we stopped off and got on a boat, went over to Hamilton Island. But yeah, so that one there and back. Yourself?
I did an early trip back in the day in the car. That wasn't too bad. Shano?
Brisbane, Melbourne in a van. I thought it was going to fly off the road. So
no, you didn't. You thought you were going to get abducted at Narrandera.
In gangs. Yeah, it was
the Murrumbidgee Hotel, Nathan. Yeah. That's for another podcast. It's a whole different podcast.
That's a summer edition.
That's the after hours, yeah.
All right. Now, moving on. How many states in our great land start with the letter W?
Which great land? Obviously,
This is
USA,
based,
baby.
the USA is the title of the quiz, Nathan, just to get you up to speed.
You're a brother.
thank you very much.
I'm just going to go. We got West,
How many?
Collingwood.
50 odd.
Collingwood.
Do you want me to go first? And then you can go either
No,
way.
if you get it right on, then you lose.
Correct. It's 3.
It's not.
Nathan?
You're looking at.
You're going to say 4 because you're a cat.
I don't mind Geelong getting up. I'm going to go into this week's game neutral because I don't want Collingwood to lose either. So I'm going to go 6.
Nick wins with 4.
Should have gone 4.
I knew it was 4. I wanted to tempt you into doing your same stupid tactic, which would have been quite successful there.
That was good.
Gloves are off. I'm playing properly.
Question number 5. The current metropolitan area population of New York City.
Yeah.
You want the area?
I want the number. Oh, sorry, population.
Oh, the population. How many people?
Metropolitan area across the boroughs.
Yeah, Collingwood.
Nearest to what?
Nearest to the real number.
Yeah, I'm going to say 5.3 million.
Okay.
I'm going to go 5.4 million.
Nathan wins. It's 18.8 million.
18.8. I'll go first. Next one, Nico.
Christ, that must be pretty cramped. No wonder they're all got coronavirus if they're living on top of each other. Get out to the wide open spaces, guys. Jeez.
All right. On the 17th of August of this year,
True.
a temperature was recorded at Death Valley in California. Do you want to go Fahrenheit or Celsius, boys?
Celsius.
Yeah.
Celsius it is. What was the recorded temperature?
51.3.
At Death Valley.
Death Valley.
What time was it?
Yeah, 17th of August, 2020.
Do people live there?
The 17th of August.
So
And Nathan says 51. And you're saying it was what was the issue with the temperature?
it was a very, very high temperature. A record temperature, if you will.
Well, if it was record temperature, it was 52 degrees.
Nick wins. It was 54.4 degrees, 130 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Preheated oven for half an hour and then throw the biscuits in.
Good stuff.
What number is this?
All right. Now, out of the list of highest mountains across the USA, what number is the first on that list that is not in Alaska?
Can you please repeat that again?
Okay, list the highest mountains in the USA.
Yep. What number is the one that's not the? What number does the first one from Alaska come in? Let me see, because you've got Mount, and then there's Mount
3.
Well, I was going to say 3, so I'll have to go out on a limb here and say.
No,
4.
you can agree with me if you like. It'd be foolish, but yeah.
Well, I'll play by the rules. Collingwood 4.
It's 11. So congratulations, Nick. Okay. Trump versus Clinton in 2016. What was the difference in votes, the winning margin, if you will, between the two of them?
As in by state or by popular vote?
Electoral votes.
Well, didn't Hillary get more?
No.
But she so what? Explain to me this. She won the popular vote.
Yeah, popular vote doesn't get you in. Same as Australia, it doesn't get you in.
Sorry,
you have to win per state.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know. I'll give you a little bit of a tip here that Hillary won 227 electoral votes.
So what did Trumpy win?
What was the gap between her and Trump's number?
Nick.
Go Collingwood.
Oh, sorry. I said I wanted my favourite person. 4.
4. Okay.
14.
It was 67. So congratulations, Nathan.
This is a shit quiz.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Okay. Well, yeah, because you're all being very accurate. You've missed by multiples of no, 300% in most cases.
Sorry,
I'm tired. I'm bored. The audience has just dropped out en masse.
I mean, I can't believe that our mass audience from the Philippines and India have no interest in American politics.
Well, I'll call it. I'll call it now because
No, don't call it
that
now.
was embarrassing. So
Keep going.
all right, let's go. $1 equals how many cents? US cents, that is, of course.
100 Australian cents.
Uh,
Oh, as it-
190. What? $1 Australian dollar.
One
is
Australian dollar currently would equal around 68 US cents.
64.
71. Well done, Nick.
I'm back, Shane.
Total number of islands that form Hawaii. That's it. And
Total number of islands from Hawaii is at 28. Collingwood.
29. Go the Suns.
137. Well done. You were close again.
Well, that was a ripper. That one.
Good stuff. Well, we'll do something a little bit simpler next week.
Yeah, please.
Oh, okay, Shane. Sorry, mate.
It's dark.
Next week I'm going to do a quiz on how many grams of butter you need in certain recipes. I mean, whatever. No, Shane, hats off to you, literally, for going out on a limb and bringing something of value to this program.
You do it week in, week out, and I'll be honest, mate.
Next week, don't worry.
The quality. Let's be honest. The quality you bring has been 100%. So you were due a loss. So you're still shooting 92.7. So it's a lot more than what me and Nick have brought. So you should be commended. And shout out to our Texan friends.
I bring nothing to this show, but I bring more than what Biz bought last week. Let's be honest. Jesus. Is he still is he all there?
Go, Nathan.
Oh God.
No, Biz did bloody I like Biz. I thought he did extremely well. So shout out. But
we're 40 minutes in. There's no chance of ever hearing this. That's okay.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's get the tips in very quickly then. We'll talk them through if you want. Shane, your boys, any hope in hell? I'm saying no, unfortunately. And kudos for a great season. But I'm going the Tigers here. Shane.
I'm going the Saints in hope. They'll come out with some spirit and some flair, and I'll be there. And I'll bring the same grit and intensity like I did last week. And cover your ears, kids.
Nico. I'm taking my old man who's been a lifelong Richmond supporter. So I'm taking him for his birthday tomorrow. Sorry, wishful thinking. Friday night at Metricon. And I think it's going to be a really close game. I think St Kilda are going to give a really good account of themselves, but the class of the Tigers should get him in the end. But I wouldn't be surprised if St Kilda win, but I'm tipping Richmond.
Okay. Richmond it is. Good luck, Shane. All jokes aside, you guys have done extremely well, so hopefully they can get it done for you. Next one, Saturday, boys. We'll all be there. This is a huge game. Nick, I'll get your vote last. Shane, I'm going to go the Cats only because I've been strong on them from day dot, so I have to. Not taking away anything from Collingwood. I hope they get it done for Nick, but I'm tipping the Cats. Shane, where are you putting your tip?
This will be very tight. This will be, and the travel factor times two, a little bit of extra break from the Cats. Selwood will get back up after his finger surgery. So either way, I think the Pies are on a bit of a hot tip and run, and they will beat Geelong. They will beat Geelong by a couple of goals.
Nick, talk me through it, mate. How do you see this one playing out? Are you confident?
Let's talk about Geelong. You got Selwood, Ablett, and Dangerfield, three of the greatest individuals to ever play the game. Trophy cabinets full of individual honours, but our great game is a team sport. And I look at Collingwood's list, and there's a bloke called Levi Greenwood, a former North Melbourne player. And Levi, I know he's an avid viewer of this. And Levi, if you give us half of what you gave us over at the stadium, we won't sneak in, Shane. Collingwood will win this by 40 plus. Collingwood will win this game at the Gabba by 40 plus, because when Collingwood are at their best, they play as a team. They play for their coach, Nathan Buckley. Much maligned, and I've called for it once in his tenure that it's time to go. I even called for Eddie to go at some point. We have the best president. We have the best coach. We have the best supporter base. We're going to galvanise. And the Magpie Army will be heard that loud from the state of Victoria, which is currently in complete and utter shambolic disarray as a result of the Dan Andrews government putting people who should be not even here in charge of quarantine at some hotels. So, in short, Nathan, Collingwood by 42 points on this great day, well, sad day, 29 years since the passing of one of the all-time greats, Darren Mullane. Collingwood to march on to play the Brisbane Lions in a preliminary final.
Mate, I want to cross the line myself, mate. I want to play. Mate, that was incredible. Mate, I almost want to change my tip, but I'm going to stick with Geelong. But well done.
You get a tip after? Are you serious? That was all built around you tipping Collingwood. I wanted you to go. Geez, that after tipping Geelong, I think that might get me over the line. Let's be honest. If we're putting our hopes on Levi Greenwood, I just wanted to just pump him up for the sake of it, because people would go, "Oh, Pendlebury's basketball background. You know, you play basketball. Do you guys know that?"
Yeah.
No, I'm excited. Can I just say, I currently, this is no way of lie, I'm getting a message from my wife at the moment. She says, "You're very loud. Be quiet. You're too loud. You're way too loud." That was just as that.
That's my favourite part of the entire show. We'll cut that one up. But gentlemen, let's rein it into the short pass this week. Short pass this week, of course, brought to you by Curtain Trend. All you Brisbane and Gold Coast-ites, all your window furnishing needs. Curtain Trend, hit them up. Tell them Nathan sent you. They'll sort you out. Shane, where is your short pass going this week?
My short pass is going to the dark art of the Saturday afternoon punt. I'm going race 8, number 2, King's Legacy in the Caulfield Guineas. Get around it. There is going to be a lot of activity in the coming weeks, guys. We have got the Cox Plate on grand final day. Come on. This is exciting. So that's about it for me.
Nick?
Yeah, I haven't put too much detail into my short pass. I put a lot of detail into the status of the Collingwood Football Club. But it would be remiss of me not to mention this. I wasn't with you guys last week, but my favourite cricketer growing up, and I'm talking about my infancy, was a man called Dean Jones. Dean tragically passed away in a country where a lot of our viewers come from. I know we joke about it, but a lot of our connections are over there in India. So, yeah, a superstar of the game, taken too early. A short pass is to Dino. Rest in peace.
Thanks, Nico. Mate, my short pass is going to go... I can't follow that for a little bit. Anyway, my short pass is going to go to Nico's delivery of Collingwood's chances to get over Geelong. And I'm now going to change my tip from Geelong to Collingwood Magpies, who will beat Geelong Cats by 42 points. Ladies and gents, have a fantastic week. Enjoy the footy. See you back here next Wednesday, 8 p.m. ish.